Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. I'm back home, San Diego. Today I am smoking my K Woody Fine Line. Came home and this had arrived. I had won this in an auction and I love it because it looks like an onion. So I love that pipe. And in it, I am smoking some wonderful tobacco. Bob's Chocolate Flake from Gawath and Hogarth. Kindle tobacco. That is some good stuff there. That was sent to me by Izzy, Happy-Go-Lucky Piper. He said he didn't care for it, and so he sent it to me, and then I'm going to send him back some Virginias and stuff to try that he hasn't tried. So I got back home from Alaska about 11 o'clock this morning. We left Alaska at 11:45 p.m. We were supposed to have an hour and a half layover in Dallas, which turned out to be 20 minutes. They had fog in Dallas, so they told the pilot to slow down and take his time getting there, and he did. So we got to Dallas probably about 30 minutes before our connecting flight was supposed to leave. And they closed the gates at 1:15 till time to leave. So it took probably 10 minutes to get. We were in the very last row on the plane. So it took at least 10 minutes to get unloaded from the plane. And then we had to go find our gate, which was on, if you've ever been to Dallas, Fort Worth Airport, you know it's huge. You got to jump on a tram to take you to wherever your next gate is. So we came in on C. We were in the high seas when we came in. So we jump on the tram. So the next stop is the low C's, then it goes to the high B's. Or no, it was the high A's and then the low A's. So we had like 3 stops before we got to our stop on the thing. So we get to our stop, and we have 20 minutes till the plane takes off. As we're walking to the gate, which we weren't really walking, we were kind of run walking, we hear final boarding call for our flight. We happened to see a bunch of people who were also on our flight ahead of us, who had got off the plane before we did. So we also got an email saying they had changed our seats on the flight, so we would need to go to the gate and get our new boarding passes before we could get on, because our seats had changed. So we were the last two on the plane. Well, actually, I think there was two people who were there ahead of us, but had something going on with their tickets too, so they got on after we did. So we made the flight, but our luggage didn't. So here it is, 6:05 p.m. Our luggage still hasn't arrived. So we were actually in the air. Well, there was a 1 hour time difference from Alaska to San Diego. So we were actually in the air for 11 hours. I'm sorry, 10 and a half hours. 10 hours, 40 minutes, something, 10 and a half hours. So we were tired when we got home. But the really cool thing, on the flight from Alaska to Dallas, why they routed us from Alaska to Dallas and then from Dallas to San Diego, I don't know, but they did. Those were the flights we got. But on that flight, about 10 minutes into the flight, 15 minutes into the flight, the pilot comes on and says, you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your left, you'll see the Northern Lights. Northern Lights has been, Alaska and Northern Lights have been on my bucket list. Those were two things that I have always wanted to do my entire life, was go to Alaska and see the Northern Lights. So I got to look out the window of the plane and see the Northern Lights. Which frankly was immensely moving for me. And it brought tears to my eyes. It really did. It was just for so long I have wanted to see the Northern Lights, and I mean, I still want to see them in the wild, you know, in person, in the wild, in the cold. I want to hear the noise that they make, because supposedly they make a noise. But I finally got to see the Northern Lights. I finally got to see Alaska. Two of my bucket list things. And there were only like 4 on there to begin with, on my bucket list. Those were my final 2 that I hadn't accomplished yet. And I still want to go back to Alaska in the winter, and I want to see the glaciers calving and that kind of stuff, and just see the whole Alaska in the winter. And so I still have half of a bucket list thing on my bucket list, and I have no doubt that that is going to happen. I have a feeling that Alaska is going to be a big part of my future, my whole family's future. And this Bob's chocolate is so good. But we had just an incredible time in Alaska. Tina and Mike Woodworth and their family, Michael and Jenniday, and made us feel so loved and welcomed, and my back is a mess being in the airplane for that many hours in those seats, and no way to recline. We were in the back row. There was no way to recline on the longest part of the trip. So my back is just a mess right now. But I'll be fine. Home. I just need to get my laundry, my luggage, I mean, and my laundry would be nice. And we had to check our bags, which we hadn't planned on doing. We're doing carry-ons, but flight was so full they had no overhead storage, so they were making everybody check their anything that wouldn't fit under the seats. So, or at least they didn't charge us for it, so that was good. But other than that, great flights. Man, I got to see the Northern Lights. God, that was just incredible. That was just incredible. I can't even begin to express how moving that was for me to see the Northern Lights. I don't know if it's any more impressive seeing it from the ground than it was from an airplane, but man, it was amazing. But I've been told that they make a sound. The Northern Lights actually make a sound when it's really cold. You can actually hear the Northern Lights from people who live in the area. Alaska was just amazing, just amazing. But so I'm home, back on the patio. Warm, ugly weather. I really got used to that cold weather, I'll tell you. I love wearing jackets, going outside and having a sweatshirt. I don't like heat. I mean, heat's fine once in a while, but man, not year round. Looking forward to Virginia. Getting some cold months in there. Oh, and the colors. We got there, everything was green. Everything was still green. And within 5 days of being there, all of the trees that weren't evergreens were yellow. I mean, golden yellow. It was just amazing. If you go back and look at that video where I talked about hiking up Exit Glacier and I show that view and you see all that yellow, those are trees. Those are just, that whole valley is filled with trees that have turned golden yellow for the fall. We don't get fall here in California. Where I'm at in California anyway. It just stays brown and gray and army drab green. Got to see another moose yesterday, which was pretty cool. Out in a big old field. Lots of dead porcupines. Saw several dead porcupines. Didn't see any live ones. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an update. We're home. We had an amazing time. I had truly the time of my life, and Sadie had the time of her life. She I'm not allowed to give any details about Sadie, how her time was. I think she wants to do all that herself, and so I will let her do that. She has her own channel, so I will let her do her own videos. She had an unforgettable, once in a lifetime kind of trip, where life-changing type of trip. And she wants to move back to Alaska, and she's 24, so she wants to go to school up there, go to take a nursing program up at University of Anchorage, I think it is. So she may wind up moving to Alaska. At some point. She wants to finish her child development thing, and then she's going to go into that. But anyway, I'm at 20 minutes. I got to stop here. But I hope y'all have a great day, great week, and I will catch you later. God bless.